Hello friends, welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you are new. I'm so sorry I've been gone such a long time. I have no excuses, okay? But I am back here with you now, and I thought a good catch-up video would be to talk with you about why I think, and I figured it out after a little bit, why certain organizing systems work and why some don't work. It's just a theory, an organizing theory. So hello, if you've never been to my channel before, my name is Kay. I'm a professional home organizer, and I am here to inspire you to live a more organized life. Now today, we're going to talk a little bit about organizing philosophies. Now I pride myself on coming with I feel like what is a unique approach to home organizing. I don't really have a lot of rules per se, but I really want to challenge people to change their mindset about their home and make organizing systems work for them. Like, I don't think that there is a set amount of items that you need to have. I do think that there is a problem in today's society, especially in this country. I live in the United States, where we have a lot of items, and it's easy to get caught up in a capitalistic system where you just feel compelled to buy items. That's not a moral failing. That's just a system that you're in. So I do find when I would see clients, they would have lots of things, and we would try to downsize to, really get what they needed, keep what they needed, and get rid of what they quote unquote did not need. And that wasn't dependent on my thoughts. I would try to guide them to this decision, and they usually were able to make pretty good decisions. Now, I myself am a human, unbelievably so, and suffer from the same maladies and challenges as everyone else. The only exception is I usually can overcome them or figure out a system that works for me and works for other people in terms of keeping it organized and being able to find things. That is really the only difference between me and everyone else. I often have organizing challenges from my own life and my own space. Now, I feel like my space is fairly organized. Some areas could stand to get a little bit of help, and we'll take you through those, especially later in the month. I still have a lot of spaces to go. You don't want to see the downstairs storage closet. She needs some help. But on the channel, I have reorganized and decluttered 3 spaces that I can think of specifically, 3 or 4 spaces. I know that I've done at least 5. I did a drawer in my office. I did the medicine cabinet in my bathroom. I did my hair cabinets and drawers in my bathroom. I did my closet, and I did the laundry space in our downstairs living room area. All of these spaces have remained the same and have been, I did my pajama drawer. All of these spaces have been pretty well maintained and super easy to maintain and been a joy to use in the past few months. Now, admittedly, sometimes when I organize a space, I find that the system doesn't work for me. It doesn't stick. Like, I can't get myself to keep the space organized or the same as it was. And what changed? What changed for me? And I want to say that I believe the thing that changed for me and made it able for me to maintain the space that I set up and the system that I set up is the way that I felt and thought about A, the things that were in the space, and B, what I was doing, what I was using the space. I think I can talk most confidently about my hair cabinet area and my hair cabinet drawers. For years, I have been getting messages from the outside, subconsciously, and maybe sometimes directly, that coily hair, like the curliest hair texture, is ugly, unprofessional, unkempt, not the good hair. And so I think subconsciously, bothering to take care of it or having to deal with it, I had feelings around that. And recently I had a mindset shift where I let go of a lot of that stuff. And now I think that textured hair and type 4 hair is super pretty and fun to take care of, instead of my hair care process being a pain or a trouble or, hard to do. Every wash day, I'm looking forward to doing it. I'm looking forward to trying new products. I'm looking forward to using up that shampoo. I'm looking forward to doing that conditioner. I'm looking forward to trying new bond repair products. I'm looking forward to the smell of, my hair oil. I'm looking forward to all of it, and I'm keeping it clean. I'm keeping it organized. And I'm like, is it organized because it's meaningful? And so I want to go back to, I had feelings about minimalism. Now, I do think that, especially as a home organizer, that minimalism is not a problematic concept in itself. I don't think that if you don't need 8 towels, you should have 8 towels. I think that if you don't need 8 towels, you should keep just as many as you feel like you would need. If you're one person, maybe you need 2, maybe you need 3 at the most. If you're really hardcore, maybe you need 1. However, if your passion is towels, you can have 8 towels. When I was with clients before and we were talking about their space, and sometimes I would notice, especially with closets, that things at the bottom of the closet that were, not seen for years and years and years. And I would find something crumpled up at the bottom, maybe, greeting cards that meant to go out, or books that they bought a long time ago, but now the paper's all crushed and things like that. And I would talk with them about their intentions with these items. And they were like, oh, I wanted to, send that out, or I meant to read that, or, I really had intentions of using that sewing kit, or I bought that teddy bear thinking, it's so cute. I'm going to redecorate and put it out and blah, blah, blah. It was all these things that they intended to do. And sometimes when I talk with people and I talk with them about their hobbies and their lives and their passions, they light up when they talk about things they're really interested in. I'm a musician, professional musician, also on the side. It's not really on the side. It's in addition. I have a correlating career in which I sing opera for a living, and it's great. I cannot complain. And if you were to ask me, if we were together on the street about music and especially about Bach, because he's my favorite composer, you're going to ask me about Bach cantatas, I am talking to you all day about my favorite cantatas, about my favorite fugues, what's going on with cantata number 50, how I feel about 51, how I feel about obligato instruments and trills and all that. I could talk your face off because I'm interested in it and I'm really passionate about it. And it made me think about if that's not minimalism with, you don't feel minimalistic about your passions, right? They're meaningful. Is that not the same thing I did to my hair care cabinet? It's meaningfulism, not minimalism. Meaningfulism. Meaningfulism gave my space and gave my place in that space, how I use those items, how I interact with them, because it's a relationship between you and items, really healthy. I'm excited. I'm curious. I'm having a good time. I'm having fun. And I love the ritual of it. And everything in there is a part of my sacred self-love space. And therefore, it's easy for me to keep it organized. Now, I can't feel this amount of passion about all of my spaces. But as far as setting up systems that help you love your life in whatever way you can love your life, that's meaningfulism, not minimalism. And so the amount of items is irrelevant, right? If you can keep track of 52 records, I think people that collect vinyl have more than that. Maybe they don't, I don't know. But I know my dad did when he was alive and collecting vinyl records in the 80s and 90s and 70s, let's be honest. He had tons of Motown records, and the way that he would handle them and sit down and talk with me about the first time he heard the Temptations and all that stuff, it was the most organized space in our home because it was so meaningful to him. And so I know that it's really hard to make the distinction between filling a hole in our hearts with shopping or having a meaningful item. And don't get me wrong, items are just items, right? They are just items, especially, and I feel this, especially when dealing with loved ones' possessions, like their items are not them. They are triggers for us who remain behind. And I recently had to go down and help my mother deal with some of my father's items. And it was hard. My dad had all these like suits, right? He was like suit guy. And every suit jacket and pant, for that matter, had something in the pockets. Like he was not a pocket emptier. And everything in the pockets told a really amazing story. Like there were tickets to the Kennedy Center. There were like receipts to restaurants. There were business cards to everyone he talked to, his own business cards, because he was like very much a hustler and giving out his business card. He was a dentist. And it was very difficult for my mother and I to do this. But at the end of the day, they were not him. But the items that you have in your life right now and that you're using and add meaning to your life and good purpose in your life, I feel like meaningfulism is more important in terms of organizing your space and managing your relationship with your items than minimalism. And I think that is ultimately where I've been trying to get to as a message on my channel and like to other people for years, because I've always had not a beef, but kind of an issue with minimalism as an aesthetic being disguised as an organizing tactic. Again, if you can't handle like the inventory in your home, like let's say you have 40 coats. I don't know anybody that has 40 coats. But if you have 40 coats and you are overwhelmed by the amount of coats, yes, please downsize to the amount of coats that you can manage and that you need. Here in Massachusetts, we have weather. It's quite dark today. And so I have the right amount of coats for every type of weather. I've got my jackets, my raincoat, my windbreaker, my cold coat, and my cold AF coat. Okay. And that's all. And I have a fancy coat too for like looking cute, but, I can manage the amount of coats I own. And so I think a good amount of mixing of minimalism and meaningfulism is going to be the key to, or the mindset shift that I think a lot of people need to start their organization journey. The things that I really want to have around that I don't need to have around, they need to have meaningfulness. So therefore, I encourage you to practice meaningfulism instead of just sterile minimalism. Again, no hate. Everybody's aesthetic. If you like love having very few items and you're probably not watching this channel, by the way. If you do, you probably are looking to organize your home and get rid of some stuff. And I'm encouraging you as much as you can to get rid of as much as you can if you feel really overwhelmed. But practice a little bit of meaningfulism and minimalism together, not just one. I feel like they go together. I've just talked for like 15 minutes about things. I was going to show you the organized spaces, but I feel like, okay, you'll get to see, we'll do the hair cabinet and you guys can see that. Okay. All right, here we go. Okay. Here's the cabinet. I'll show you the drawers first since we're, closer to the drawers. I have to hold the microphone. Well, you know what? I should put the microphone on my person. What am I doing? Okay. So this is still the first drawer. It's still basically the same. You know what? There we go. That makes me feel a little better because I have these can't go like this way, but I still have my shea butter there. I still have all my hair butters. This is my favorite. I will repurchase this when it runs out. It's almost gone. My tool drawer is still basically the same. I do still have various amount of brushes and stylers and detanglers in here. And I still have my hair scissors just in case I need to cut anything off. Again, I don't wait around. I just cut things that need to be cut. And last but not least, under here still looks almost exactly the same as when I showed it to you last time. We got the Blue Magic, we got the extra products, we got the conditioners and like heat protectants and stuff. And the hair dryer is back there. I do have a Rev Air that I've used and I have put in there, but I feel like it's too big to put in there. So it's in my closet and it's fine. And I use it like maybe once a month. My closet still looks exactly the same. It's really dark, but you can see me in the mirror. So I'm so sorry that it's so dark today, but everything is basically still in the same place. And the way that I've set this up works really well. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you can see the video. I'll link it in the description down below. My Rev Air is underneath there. I've been really enjoying both the new knobs on the Alpha and the fact that my makeup is in this drawer now. Like, this is my new favorite thing, that I get dressed up, I put this on, and I just close the door, I don't have to look at it. And it's very organized. And you know what? While I'm here, boom. Still the same. Medicine cabinet is still essentially the same. And my little hair oils and hair perfumes are here. I'm obsessed with this. So I bought a full size and hopefully it's on its way, but I've used almost all of this up. I might be addicted to it or something. I don't know. Oh my God, Clover's there. Was he there the whole time? Anyway, I didn't want to do a super long video, even though I think this video is a little long. I just wanted to come over here and give you my disorganized thoughts while I had them. Clover, do you want to say anything? No? Those are my thoughts, and so sorry for being gone a while. I'll be back pretty consistently from now on. So please forgive me, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.